In a world where knowledge is power, listen to industry-leading experts discuss the future of digital currency. Welcome to the Crypto Untangled Podcast. Learn the ins and outs of cryptocurrency and blockchain and take your wealth to the next level. Now, here is your host, Dr. Boudib.
Tiago, thank you for joining me today and welcome to this fourth episode of Crypto Untangled Podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, it's a pleasure to get artists or inspiration from artists that does or that are doing the work that you are doing. It's pretty amazing. I shared your work in my group and the guys were, wow, what is he doing? This guy is insane. So what can you tell us about yourself and your background?
Well, I've been doing digital art since I would like to say 13. I started in a mafia game, an online game back in the IRS Merrick programs. Like we would chat online. It would be kind of like Discord now, but it was just like chat, no video, no images, no anything. And there was this game called Omerta, and it was a mafia game, but people had like all types of anime images to showcase like their like friendships and their allies and all of that. And I started doing images like that for like $2 at the time, like $1, $2. And from there, I just decided to follow like visual arts in high school. And then from there, I studied fashion. I did like editorial styling in fashion, and then I moved to photography, and now I ended up here. So I'm just a mismatch of a bunch of different areas. Oh, and I also did music too. So there's a
awesome.
Lot.
So what inspires you basically? What can you or how can you describe a situation, a real life situation that inspired you?
Honestly, right now, I'm just so focused on like creating worlds that almost anything inspires me. Like sometimes I'm like traveling by car and I stop. This happened 2 weeks ago. I went to see friends because quarantine opened up like the lockdowns here, and I stopped 4 times to take photos because I saw something. Like I looked out of the window and I was like, oh, I could do something with that. And I just took photos, and yeah, like now I'm working on 4 pieces that they just popped up from like the street. And sometimes it's like stories, sometimes it's like I'm watching some type of movie and, oh, I like that scene, but I would do it differently. So I just tried to recreate it in like my own style. Like it's just everything nowadays. I guess the quarantine made that easier because you were forced to get inspiration for anything and everything. So yeah, before it would be like traveling, now it's anything. Like
so basically the pictures that you are using, I saw one of your workflow.
Yeah,
the picture is yours or it's taken and you adapted that work?
So I have work done with my own work, like my own photos. I have some that like from stock photos websites, but the goal before this whole thing was me to travel, take a bunch of shots, come back home for like a month or two, edit, travel again, edit, and that was the plan. But as we know, people can't really travel right now, so I have to resort to like Unsplash and Shutterstock and all of that.
Unfortunately, we cannot travel that much here, but
yeah, like it's been a new learning curve because I started with like stock photos, but right before this whole thing, I was starting to like, let me just put my own photos and see if people enjoy like me creating my own content. And then bam, you can't really do anything. And well, I've started doing like some self-portraits, but it's not the same because you still have to use photos for everything else.
Maybe you show us a little bit of your work.
I can, and I have a few things.
Sure. Can you share your screen so people can see?
I think so. Let me see.
So while you show us a little bit of your work, wow, this is impressive. What art do you most identify yourself with?
I would say I'm a bit of mix between a surrealist and what now is considered a composite artist.
Okay.
Basically, so this is my most recent piece. Wait, it should have opened.
I love this one.
Like, this is my most recent piece, and I actually have like the stocks I used for the base of this image. These three are from Shutterstock. This one is from Unsplash, and then the rest is painted by me. But for this one, I actually have the time lapse, and I have a bigger version that I showed on social media. And this is the time lapse of me actually doing the piece. And you can see me just like compositing all of the photos. And then when I'm happy with the composition, I start painting over it. And that's why I would call myself a mix between the two, because since I have this thing called aphantasia, it's a condition. I wouldn't say it is a disease, but it's a condition where you can't visualize anything in your own like mind. Like when I close my eyes, I just see black. A lot of people can actually visualize things. I can't, so I need photos. And I usually block out things with photos, and then from there I start painting over it. And I've been like exploring more of that type of style. I also did a lot of paintings recently that follow the same like process. You currently own my favorite. You currently own my favorite because it fully represents the style I'm trying to go for. And I've been like kind of stuck on the, oh, it needs to be realistic. It needs to be realistic. It doesn't. That's the thing. It doesn't.
No.
And the NFT world really showed everyone that you don't really need to do it.
Everyone has his own, not style, but
I would
flavor.
Yeah,
flavor.
Exactly.
So taste, let's say, I don't know if it's taste. Taste is the real word or the right word for this, but maybe taste. And for me, this combination of surrealistic with the colors and the stuff, it's super attractive for my eye. That's why I bought them. It's not like I bought the pieces of art because, well, Tiago is joining me, because I really, really love them. And this one is super impressive.
Really
maybe please stop posting them because my wife will kick me out of the house. So honestly, if I keep buying.
Honestly, the Jelly World that you got on Makers, right after you purchased it, it was shared on Maker's Place, Twitter and Instagram, and I think it was like 10 DMs asking if I knew if you were going to sell it again. So
I don't think so. So it's gonna be sitting there for a while.
Like this one, for example, the background is a photo. Like the back of the image is a photo of like a sunset, I think. Okay. And there's a girl here, and everything else is painted on. So I just merge a bunch of like textures for the monster, and then everywhere I would see like, oh, an eye could fit here, I could fit there, and I just started painting as the image talked to me in a way. Like I had the vision, to me, the concept. Well. That's really good, because this style has been taking me 4 or 5 years to feel comfortable with sharing. Like this one, the base of the heart was an actual heart, and I just started layering things, and it ended up like this. Sometimes it's just stuff like this, a little bit more on the simpler side, but other times it gets crazy and it ends up like this.
I really like it, but I had to decide between this one and the fighter. I think the fighter was closer to me than this one, although I really love it as well. But you have to make a choice.
Yeah, I guess people can get everything and anything. For me, the fighter is a little bit more my own personal taste. Like
Well, we
it's
share
more
taste.
refined to the goal I'm going for with this style and this vision. This one is more related to the traditional work I did before, and I guess that needed to be the start from where I was going.
So
But yeah,
the
like,
girl in here is painted, or is it a
oh,
picture
I'm
of
sorry.
a girl? It's okay.
So this is, if I'm not mistaken, I have a portrait of someone.
Okay.
And then there's a layer of acrylic pouring on top. So there's a photo of acrylic pour on top of a photo of a portrait.
Okay.
And I just liquefied the face to a point where it fits what I wanted, and I started painting it into realism again. So I destroyed someone's face. I'm so sorry. I don't know you, but you were
It's
lovely.
for art. I think it's
And
fine
now
as long
you're
as you do it
prettier,
for
I
art.
guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's quite beautiful. Honestly, I really wanted to buy it as well, but yeah, already two made me a little bit of troubles. So
I mean, hopefully you can sell them one day when I'm very
yeah,
famous.
I'm more the collector. I like the piece because I see something unique in it. I buy it for myself, not to resell it.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some NFTs that are for reselling or something, but some digital art are for me to stay in my wallet. Unless you send some fantastic or crazy price that I cannot say no,
Yeah.
I think it will be there for quite a while.
I mean,
So
hopefully you get like a really good offer on them, and you have to ponder it. But I would enjoy to keep it on your collection, because like that's why we do art. It's not really for the money itself.
true.
It helps because like the starving artist like thing, it's really cool on the movies, real life. It's not that easy, but I think my own like goal is to see my art in someone else's house, in someone else's like wallet, like just see it next to other people's art, not just me and like, oh, this is all I did. It's kind of like, okay, like you can see even with my background, like this is my work, but here I have work from other people, and like I have my work there, but there's like Marvel there. Like I need to be surrounded by art. So I guess I just want my art to do the same for someone else.
So talking
yeah.
about art, what does your artwork aim to say?
Okay. So like, okay, the paintings have been a bit of a way I found to explore my emotional side, more of the things I've been fighting against during like quarantine, like the fighter, for example. It really represents what I've been going through more recently, because recently I haven't talked about this a lot online. Since of COVID, I started getting a lot fewer jobs. So things started to run tighter and tighter and tighter. And the creative side of art doesn't really pay as much or as fast as the skill-based side of art, like freelancing, retouching, and all that. And I have been trying to put that skill aside so I could focus on NFTs and I could focus on expression and all of that. But it isn't always easy. So that piece represents the fight between my creative self that just wants to create every day and do a lot of things, and it's always like wanting to create a new piece of work, and the reality of, well, we still have bills to pay, we still need to eat, we still have to pay the house and the car and all of that. So yeah, I've been trying to, with digital painting, explore a little bit more of the emotions, like this one over here that's also for sale on OpenSea. It's a representation of all the voices people have inside of your head as an artist, all of the, oh, you're not worth what people say you are. Like in my case, since I've managed to gather a bigger following on Instagram, it's a lot of the, oh, why would people follow you? Your work is not that good. and fighting that with all of the other people telling me, no, your work is worth it. And I believe my work is worth it. And I've put the time to make it worth it. But it's been a little bit of a representation of every single emotional path I've been going through during my journey. And my more realistic work, it's a bit of just based on fantasy and trying to create worlds for other people to live in a way, because it's the easiest way for me to create the stories, I guess, I have in my head. So digital painting, more emotional, more real to me as an artist. And that's what I've been trying to focus a little bit more recently. Photorealistic stuff, photo manipulations and all that. So a little bit more for everyone else. Just enjoy my world. I created this. Enjoy it.
Awesome, man. Who are your biggest influence?
I would say, so all of the surrealism gods, like Dali is a really big one, because you can even see it on my digital paintings, like all the melts and all the, why is that there? Like, why does that look like that? It has been a really big influence as like a traditional artist. And in the new era, there's a few artists, it's not their style, it's the way they work that ended up influencing me. Like Panjul, I don't know if you've crossed paths with him on Twitter. Maybe. Is an Indonesian artist, if I'm not mistaken. And I met him, I think 4 years ago on DeviantArt. And I fell in love with his work. His work is absolutely amazing. And then 2 years later, we crossed paths on Instagram. And I know, like, I learned because we started talking more, he was working with a mouse. Like, he was making these amazing paintings with a mouse instead of a tablet. Like, I use a tablet and my work doesn't look like as polished as his. And like the faith just worked that way. I ended up getting a partnership with a brand, and I managed to give him a tablet, and I helped him like get his path easier. And the way he worked before and the way he works now and all of the things he does really, really inspires me as an artist, because he didn't have it easy and his work was still amazing. So why can't I make my work amazing? Like, that's a person as an artist that really inspires me. Mariska, that's how you say her name. The other time I said it wrong online, and she spread me felt. Mariska also is a really amazing artist. Mariska Becker, she does a bit more of a sci-fi vibe, and she has been doing really good on NFTs recently. Her work is also amazing. Gavin Shapiro, that is a bigger of name, but also an amazing artist, that just the vision and the way his work just looks seamless. It's like, okay, one day my work can like get to that level. I think, I end up finding inspiration in people that
I think it's more of a practice. The more you practice, the more you do, the better you become. And I think you are already top level, but you can also reshape, or not reshape, how to say, refine your skills to make it much faster, much flow, like the flow much faster.
I think you're right on that. It's the amount of times you do something. The more times you do it, the more time, the easier it gets, the better it will get. But yeah, I think I always end up being inspired by people's work ethic and less by their visual work. I follow a lot of artists that their work is not my personal taste, but I still love their work because I know how they work. And I ended up like just feeling inspired by that. And I don't really have like a person I look at it and I think, oh, like I want that look, I want that style. And I try to not do that, because in the past when I was starting, there was a lot of that trend, I guess, like, oh, everyone is doing this, so let me try to do it too, because for some reason that's what everyone was doing. and that, I think it's a shot in the foot when you start something. It's good to try to replicate, but if you focus on that, you can lose yourself as an artist. So I try to not replicate a lot of things, and I follow more the how do people work and how do people interact and all of that to feel inspired by them.
So how did you develop your career, basically? You said that you started in school when you were 13 and move on. So how did you develop your career and how do you seek opportunities?
So, like I said in the beginning, I've done a lot of jobs. And one thing I hear a lot is, oh, you're so good at that. Why didn't you focus on that? Oh, you're so good at that. Why did you left that to do that? And as a creative, I think if anyone listening is also a creative, they can relate to that, where a creative mind doesn't really focus on one specific thing. So I always had the struggle of, oh, I really like this thing now. And I focus on something and I find people and I try to network as much as I can. And then, oh, but now I found something else. Let me try that too. And then my 24 hours can only get you so far. So I just had to decide which part of the art had the bigger thing for me, like that is art in the sense of visual digital art, because I can add like videos, I can add music if I want to a piece and all that. And from there, I started building my brand on social media, and that ended up by default giving me opportunities to work with brands. Yeah. And from there, clients showed up for freelance work. But when work is lower, I would go to like LinkedIn or ArtStation and just like email everyone, everyone I could. And I thought like I would fit their jobs. I would try to email and send my work, and most of the times you get no's or you don't get anything. But when you get something, it's usually good. But besides the normal freelance work, I've done like I legit when I was 21, I went like to friends and I would just like, oh, can I take your photo? Like, I'm going to give it for you. Like, it's free. You keep it. I just need portfolio because there's this like person I really want to like show my portfolio to so I can get like a job. And I managed to get like a few like photo shoots for books. I managed to get photos on this book over here. This was my first. Oh, this was my first published photos on
black and white
ever.
Okay.
Like this one. Like this is a photo I took, and some of them ended up winning prizes from one of Portugal's like districts, like their how do you call it, the district government?
Maybe state, I don't know.
Yeah, like it. When you're talking internationally, it's kind of weird because like the US has something and the UK has something else. So yeah, but
in Switzerland it will be a canton. In Germany, I have no idea what they call it, but Bundes something. I'm not that good in Germany, but yeah, something like that.
Like it's always a mess when I'm trying to talk about like state things, because what can you do when every single state has a different thing? But yeah, this is a collective of like a lot of artists' work. Doing like they invite artists every year to go there and like represent their district in a way. And I managed to take enough photos to send them so they would invite me, and I ended up winning an award there. And yeah, like it's a lot of basically hustling, like, oh, I saw that thing I really want to, so let me do anything I can to just get the attention of the person and like, hey, I exist, please come, like, give me the job, thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of that.
I think as a start it's a bit tough, but once you make your name, I'm pretty sure that you will be more than enough by selling NFTs and digital work. You won't need to do freelancing for anybody.
Yeah.
I hope that soon you'll be able to do it without freelancing.
And one thing I would like to tell people on that is, even if everyone online looks like they are just doing amazing commissions and everyone is doing like artwork that they want to do, and like, oh, everyone is getting like commissioned to do their style, most of people I know do commissions on other people's work. Like, I get commissions almost like every month to do like, oh, can you just edit this photo this way for a wedding? Can you just edit this photo for a single cover or something like that? So it's not as glamorous as people make it seem on social media. And I think that's a big problem with people starting now, because if you're not doing what you see, you think you're failing. And the truth is, people don't share those little jobs.
I think by networking, when networking and the artists are gathered together in clubs,
yeah,
they get hints and they get to know better what's right and what's wrong, and how to move on. How do you price your work? So I saw that you are putting them between 0.5, 0.4 Ethereum. How do you price your work, and do you think that art should be funded?
By funded, do you mean like the angel investor type thing from like the Renaissance era, or like are you funding it as like a Indiegogo type thing?
Let's say there's a small competition, 100 applied, 5 were finalists, and those 5 will be supported, funded, at least. So let's say Tiago won't have to do daily job or won't have to do freelancing. He will sit, focus on making digital art and then selling them. I would say this is kind of funding. So I'm funding you. Okay. You are free to do your job without, I will take 1%, 2%, 5% of whatever, 10% of your art when it's sold, but more or less I'm securing your monthly payment or your salary somehow, or base salary, and the rest is on you.
I mean, I currently am invested in an agribusiness project, and it's partially funded by the government here in Portugal. So I've seen like funds for almost anything here. So I don't see why artists wouldn't get one too, because I think that would give a lot more artists a lot more freedom to actually invest their time and their skills into like creating what they actually want. Because one of the things I see most of the times, and I've seen like amazing artists just having to quit because they didn't have the money to stand on their own feet. And it's the lack of, one, job, 2, info about like pricing and how to price yourself, and 3, just the society in general devaluing like our jobs. Like I can't, like, what if I got $1 for every single message I got asking me for free work because, oh, it's just this, like, why is it so expensive? Oh, it's just clicking a button. No, it's not. I've been doing this like for years, and that's why it looks so easy, and like that's why it's fast. And that's to respond to how I price my work. For freelance, I basically did what every business does. So I set all of my expenses for the year, like Photoshop, my car, everything I need for the business. I set all the expenses yearly. I divided that amount by the months. And then I said, this is what I think me as a person should be paid. And I added that up, and then you get your hourly rate. And there's a lot of good articles now for artists that are starting on how to actually price themselves. But for fine art work, like NFTs, because that's the bigger comparison, I find that your way of valuing something, it's really random, because it is. Like, I know people have told me that I should be pricing my work at 3 Ethereum. And to me, that's completely insane at this point of my career. But it's like people have told me that, like, oh, I priced everything at 3, I sold 1, and I sold more than you did. I'm like, okay, but like that's not where I want to be right now. I think if you're joining something, and I've seen that as like a student, as a visual arts student, when more the traditional side, all of the artists I know that did gallery work, they didn't start by selling paintings for 1 million. Like people didn't start to sell for 1 million. Like,
No.
to me personally, yes, you can base yourself on, oh, you have a following online, oh, you have this, you have that, but what does that mean realistically in your journey as like an artist? Like my journey right now, it's, in my opinion, it's just starting. So it wouldn't be fair. This is my opinion, and I know most people will not agree with me on this, but I'm just starting. I wouldn't feel like it wouldn't feel fair to me to be like, oh, please pay me 5,000 because I want to, just because I want to. Like what I did was, how much do I charge for a commission? And that price I put on the piece plus what I think the piece is worth for me based on the history of the piece. Like, for example, the bird in the gold cage that's now available on Makers, I got an offer for $500. And even though it's a lot of money to some people, I don't think my first featured image on Photoshop, one of the pieces I made that represents a big part of my journey recently, is worth just that.
Can you share it, for instance? Just to
yeah,
show,
I think possible. I have
so that the people can see. Maybe I will snap it before them, but
let me open it on Makers because that's easier, because I have it right here. Okay, wait, let me go there and bam. There you go. There you go. So this is the piece I'm talking about. So this piece was my first featured piece by Photoshop. It started my journey with them. It started my interaction with them. Because of this piece, they sent me a care package in my birthday with like this mug, actually, like a few other things. And it started a connection with one of the tools that gave me the possibility to do this. So like, I get it, $500 is a lot of money for a lot of people, but I wouldn't charge 500. Like I wouldn't pay 500 for something that meant that much to another artist. I guess that's where I'm going from.
I think it has meaning, personal meaning for you, so it's not that easy to go.
And it's like, so if you see a photo that goes viral, like the memes, all the memes that have been sold now, like the Pepe. More that, yeah, like Pepe, the Zoe, the girl with the fire, the house on fire, like all of those memes are worth it because a lot of people saw it.
Sure.
So I've been trying to base the extra, so the commission plus whatever I feel it's worth, that extra has been based on how socially it was reacted to. Like Jelly World was my first viral piece. This one was my first featured piece by the brand that I owe myself to, basically. Like there's another piece that's gonna be up soon. Let me see if I can bring it up so everyone can see it. This one, it's called Nightbringer, and this one was my first outside of social media viral piece. Like this piece put me in contact with one of my icons, Eric Johansson. Okay. Like this is one of the gods on the composite world. Like, and because of that photo going viral, I actually managed to get his attention and talk to someone that like is making one of the best works out there right now. And like that piece wouldn't be worth the same as like something I did for practice, or like something I did personally just on my own time, just because I wanted to. So I guess when pricing yourself, I think you need to showcase your work first and see what people think about it and how people react to it and what people give to you. And then after a while, like after you are already in the market and in the thing, I think you're going to just be priced by other people anyway. Like if collectors just start buying you, you're going to see the average. You're going to see how much they are willing to pay for things on average. But yeah, like it's basically a lot of how much is a commission by me. So that's the base of something. And then everything else is based on the reaction. Like this was the first piece I did live on a live stream on Twitch. I did this full piece live with people. So people saw my process from start to finish for the first time. Like there's a lot of pieces like that that have my first time of this, first time of that. And those are the pieces I tend to grab dear. So I wouldn't just like let them go for the price it cost me to make it, basically, because I put a lot of time.
It has some connection to you, you know. It has meaning to you. It doesn't have to have meaning to others, but for you it's dear. That's why it's should be more expensive than others.
And like I know that there are artists just making pieces to sell, like, oh, let me add more stuff. But what I want to do with my work, and maybe that's why I don't sell as fast as some people have been selling, is I want to, if I'm selling something, I want to sell something that means a little bit of my story. Like I don't want people just to get an image by me. Oh, it's a cool image. It's cool. It's pretty, whatever, but it doesn't mean anything. Like I want to be able to say, oh, you have like my first viral social media piece. That's like a part of me. You have my struggles as a creator during the quarantine. Like that's going to mean something in like my story. So yeah, that's what I try to sell. So that's why I wouldn't just sell for the price it costs me to make it, basically.
Awesome. At least I have parts of your history, so now I'm happy.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to sell here. It's like not to be like but
so what do you like and dislike about your work?
It really depends on how, like the process, because most of my work, there's a point I hate it. Like there was a point I hated every single piece I have right now. I think it's every piece has the ugly stage and every piece has the doubt stage, and then it always ends up, okay, now I like you. Now you're the thing I want you to be. But to be like specific about things, I would say I would love to have a little bit more of a same style type thing, like do something more coherent. But that doesn't really align with my personality. So, well, it is what it is. I guess I don't have a coherent style, and that's fine by me. But yeah, if I could change something, that would be one. And I would say something else that I really like on my personal work is the fact that, and like, I like to look at my Instagram because of that. I like when you look at my feed or like a lot of my work collected, it just looks colorful. It's just like full. It's not, I like the fact that it's full of what I was trying to make. Like it's not dull. It's not that, like there's always a little bit of color here or there. Like there's always a punch of color, and that's something I was scared for a long time to do, because like color is the scariest thing to work with. Like people
it's hard.
now,
you need to have a harmony somehow that matches the atmosphere that is there. Yeah, and like, if you miss something, maybe it will affect the overall.
And like story. You can literally change the message of something by changing the color. Like it's insane to me looking back at how my work started and how my work is now, how much my conversation with color changed. I have my work set by year, so I can show you like my first pieces of work here. This is one of the first
forget to
pieces I
share.
did. Oh, there you go. Thank you for that, because I completely forgot that. Like this is one of my first pieces, and I can show you the folder, and you can clearly see I did one color. That's it. Like that blue and teal thing, that's what I did. I was scared of everything else. I wouldn't touch anything else. I tried here and there, like, oh, there's a little bit of red. There's a little bit of something else here. Like this is like, but it's still a lot of blue and teal, like the teals and the oranges and all of that. And now when I compare this to what my Instagram looks like now, it's like, oh my God, what happened? Like, there's rainbow everywhere. There's colors everywhere.
Yes,
like
pretty colorful.
And
just to mention, one of your Instagram pictures will be auctioned or will be set for sale on Wax. I minted it. I think you saw it. So we worked a bit on it. Your copy or your version is still. We animated a little bit
it's this one.
Yeah, we animated a little bit the jellyfishes, and we added some sparkle inside. Hopefully people will notice it. The promo went viral, so basically it sold out in a few minutes. In 2 minutes or 3, it was gone. So
when you sent me the link, and then I checked back, I was like, wait, but there's none left.
Yeah, so
how did that happen?
I think if you open a Wax wallet, I will be able to send you few of them, and then you are free to share them to whomever is on Wax. If you would like that, it's pretty fine. I took some so that you can give, or you can use them for sharing it on Twitter or something like this. So you can use them as a giveaway.
Like to have one,
sure,
because like I like to have a piece of everything, but everything else, I'm totally fine with giving it away, because it's ours to be given.
So before ending, what's the best piece of advice that you've been given?
Actually, yesterday I was talking to an artist, and she's been struggling a lot with the overwhelming need of time right now. Because this is the biggest amount of time any artist has had in the past few years. Because nobody needs to go outside. Nobody, like, you can just sit here and do this. Like, I have 3 screens in front of me, and this is what I do most of my day. And she was struggling because she didn't find the time to create, be social, and post.
It's pretty tough,
Like, nowadays, you have Instagram, you have DeviantArt, you have Twitter, you have YouTube, you have ArtStation, Beyonce. Like, there's so many platforms. And I think one misleading thing about being an artist nowadays is you need to be everywhere. And the thing is, you don't, because you don't. Like, you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to talk to every single person as soon as they messaged you. And I did that too. I fell into that rabbit hole where I would probably spend 8 hours a day talking to people.
Whoa.
And if you spend 8 hours a day talking to people,
you
don't spend it creating. You don't do anything. It's impossible. Like, nobody stretches that far. And yes, I could do it for like a week, but then I would be completely burned out, and I would spend like 2 weeks without talking to anyone. I wouldn't touch DMs. I wouldn't touch anything. So if I could give people advice, I would give the same advice I gave to her. If people DM'd you because they like your work, they want to see more of your work. So if you can't just talk to people today, talk to people tomorrow. Take like 30 minutes today. And now you talk to a few people, tell them it's fine. Oh, I need to go to work. Take your time to focus on what gave you the thing you like to do. That's creating. Like, don't turn your passion into a full-on job that doesn't need to exist. Because if people really support your work, they want to see you work. They don't want to just talk to you all day about random stuff. Just focus on creating and focus on sharing.
Must focus on. Yeah. So anything else you would like to add before closing? Feel free to speak, whatever you have in mind, or any future plan, anything you would like to add that we missed.
There's one thing and this would be the first time I would talk about it publicly. I've been adding, and the piece you own has a bunch of them. I've been adding these little guys. Let me just share the screen again. Like these little guys to my work recently.
I saw them in one or two pictures. I think it
like this one has it. This one has it too. All of the painting ones, they all have it. And I've been working on, like, this one has it in, like, it's the representation of all of the ideas. That's my way of putting it. Like this one has it as well. Like all of the paintings have it. And I've been working on a collection that's going to be like more of a cheaper version, because it would be like a collectible type of thing. And I would be announcing it now here. I'm gonna be releasing a full like collectibles with those characters, and it's gonna be following like what we've seen now on NFTs, like a lot of personalities, a lot of different styles, a lot of, like, every single one is gonna have a different style. But yeah, that would be something I haven't shared. But yeah, these guys are going to show up everywhere. Hopefully soon. I think it's like 30 done now. I want to have 100 before I release it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Almost halfway.
Yeah, it's going to be like a week of free time, because I don't really do anything else besides work. So it's going to be fast, I think. But yeah, that's something I haven't shared anywhere. And since you were gracefully like invited me to do this, I wanted to give you something I didn't share anywhere else.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I would like just to ask a question. What does this squid in the middle of the picture? I don't remember the name of the picture that I bought beside the fighter, the other one.
Oh, the jelly
Squid,
world?
the jelly world.
Yeah.
What does it represent to you before closing?
This was like, that's kind of funny, because this was my first interpretation of what now are the little goopies, the little guys. Like, I was completely addicted to jellyfishes on like artwork, because it was an easier way to add color and light. And those are the two things I'm completely obsessed in work with. Like, I love to add color now. I love to have magic, like all the glows and all that. So the jellies were actually my first version of what now are the goopies, and like it's the visual identity of ideas for me. So you have two pieces based on that. It's kind of funny, because I didn't really like, I really didn't put them together and thought about what both of them meant. And now, like, I was looking at my Insta and they are like next to each other. I was like, oh, you literally picked two pieces that meant the same exact thing. Like,
maybe that's how my brain functions. Huh?
Yeah, like that's incredible. Like, I didn't really like, wow, well, there's something I found out today.
Thank you so much, Tiago, for joining me today. It was a pleasure getting to know you, to see your art, to hear your story. I wish you all the best. We will be always here. I am really happy to have you as a connection. And if you need anything, please feel free. If I can support in any way, feel free to contact me, and I will always be there for support if needed. I wish you a very nice day. And
same to you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Crypto Untangled. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. For more information, visit us at cryptonewslebanon.com. We'll see you soon.